So in today's video, we're gonna be talking about money, and some resources and ways of thinking about money and relating to money that can make you become besties with money. So if you want to learn more, let's learn more on the other side. Alright, so I'm super excited to do this video, and I've gotten some requests to talk about money. I love money, and that statement might have just made you puke in your mouth a little bit, or it made your stomach go roar. What did you just say that? I just said that. So when it comes to money, money has become such a taboo subject, and I really think it's too bad, because what it does is it takes you out of the driver's seat of your money life if you're not talking about it, if you're not engaging with it, if you're not in a relationship with money. And I want to change that. I want to change a few things in terms of how we relate to money. And I've been working on changing the way that people relate to money and improving the relationship that people have with money, both through creating tools such as with my company Convive, and through money mindset coaching. And actually, I just launched a course that's called Become Besties with Money. And it's 30 days of abundance exercises and learning about your limiting beliefs that you guys can actually enroll in right now. And so I wanted to do a video in which I talk about how it is that you can develop a healthier, thriving, loving relationship with money. So let's start at the beginning. What is money? Money is, unlike what some people think, it's not the root of all evil. Money is actually just a neutral energy. It's a tool. Think of it like a hammer. A hammer is neither good nor bad, but it allows people to do things with it. And it's people who have qualified that energy, who have done things that we think of as good or bad. But it's not the money in itself that's good or bad, right? It's an energy, it's a medium of exchange, it's, a value system, it is a tool, and it's neutral. And it's also an amplifier. So what does that mean? It means that if a person who is kind of a jerk has a lot of money, well, they have the ability to do a lot more jerky-like things. And if a person who is really loving and kind and caring and wants to make the world a better place has access to this money, well, guess what they can do more of? They can do more of exactly that. So money makes you more of who you are, and it accentuates some of your qualities, right? It just makes them bigger. And so when it comes to having a relationship with money, there's a few things to know about it. Number one is you need to be in the driver's seat. And that means, no, you can't just leave it up to somebody else to manage your money, to think about your money, to talk about your money, to plan for your financial well-being for the rest of your future and for your family. This is something that we need to engage in on a daily, weekly basis. When it comes to money, money has become so taboo that people would rather talk about their weight, talk about sex, talk about almost anything under the sun other than talking about money. And one of the things that I'm working to do, one of the things that I feel very passionately about and strongly about, is healing the relationship between people and money, right? Because money is not inherently good or bad. It's what we make of this tool that can be an incredible tool for impact and for good in the world. And one of the things that I really want to do is I want to create an army of people who really care about the world, who really care about impact, and make sure that they become insanely wealthy so we can together, put our foot where, what is that? Being an immigrant, put your foot where your mouth is? Is that what it is? Basically putting our money where our mouth is. And taking care of the oceans and, the forest and helping each other. But until we have some really good people who care having the ability to do that, it's just gonna be a little bit harder. And so how do you develop an amazing, thriving, loving relationship with money? Well, first you have to realize that you can't be fighting money for you to allow money to, play a healthy, thriving role in your life. So the relationship between people and money can sound a little bit like this. You secretly get really excited when there's money, but you would never dare say like, I like money, I want to make money, I love money, I'm friends with money, because that would feel weird inside, right? And I've dealt with a lot of this, especially in, the nonprofit world, some specific places where it's, what I had basically, the lesson that I had learned and I have since unlearned was that you had to take a vow of poverty for you to do good things in the world. And at some point I learned about the world of business and I was like, what? No. I am not interested in being capped in my income. I'm not interested in having to struggle financially. Been there, done that, that's where my family comes from. Let's move on to different pastures from here. And the other thing for me was, by happenstance of life, I, at an early age, was exposed to, a couple who was very wealthy. I didn't know that they were very wealthy, and I got to see what they did with their wealth. And I guess my experience is pretty different from most people who are exposed to wealthy people, maybe. My experience, my learning was that these people who had these resources used those resources to directly make the world a better place, right? I was able to get a scholarship that, a full ride scholarship that allowed me to focus on my schooling. And, they had these organizations and just really being courageous and brave in the things that they stand up for. And I saw the power of financial resources in that. And so my lesson was like, heck, I want to be just like them. I want to have an abundance of financial resources so I too can make an impact in the world. And so growing up, the lessons that I learned about money weren't, the money is the root of all evil and like these really negative beliefs about money. Even though we grew up with very little money, what I say is I never felt poor. I grew up very differently from most of my classmates. The sort of resources that we had access to were very different. I was always on scholarship, this or that, lining up outside of Salvation Army for Christmas presents. We were the family that got food baskets, but I never, as a kid, felt poor. We would build forts in the living room and we had love from our parents. And so, yeah, money was a struggle, but I learned that you need to have a relationship with money for money to play a part in your life. And so what I think often goes wrong is, again, the relationship between people and money, where they're like, they have the money and then they feel bad about it. They secretly are really excited, but they don't feel like they can say that. And that's why I'm gonna be the person that very publicly says, like, I love money. Money is an amazing tool that I hope that more, good-hearted people can use to make an impact in this world. Money and I, we're friends, we're buddies. We're gonna make an amazing impact in the world. We're gonna do incredible things together. And yes, that includes having some fun toys and going on some, awesome adventures. But I want to talk about money. Let's start talking about money, because the more that we talk about money, the more that we develop a relationship with money, the more comfortable we will be, but also the more responsible we'll become, right? And so when I think of money, I think of it sort of as a car. You can have, an incredible car, and you get to choose what sort of abundance level you're gonna expect and allow in your life. And so some people, again, because of those limiting beliefs, they're not really interested in having a relationship with money. But if you're at a place where you are interested in having a relationship with money, well, we first have to start by being like, yay money, like we are going to work on these, sort of challenges we've had before. You can go and take my course, you can work through all that stuff. And then we're going to jump into what is the actual strategy. But so often people start with strategy, and I think that's a mistake. I don't think that's the right way to improve to right away, it'll be helpful, right? But there is no lack of strategies. What do I mean by that? There are, if you wanted to learn about investment, if you wanted to learn about how to grow your money, there's a ton of tools out there. But until you're at a place where you're not gonna push money away, where you're actually wanting to have a healthy, loving, caring relationship with money, it's gonna be really hard for you to even care, for you even to pay attention to it. So we first need to get you to a place where you're like, all right, this is important to me. And for these great reasons, right? And we're gonna work on the mindset. So you first work on the mindset and then you go to the strategy. And when it comes to strategy, there's a gazillion blogs and books and resources and courses, you name it. The strategies are out there, the resources are out there, but where we need to begin again is the mindset. And it's so critical that we start with the mindset. So if when I say things like, I love money, you know, I'm buddies with money, money and I were friends, if that makes you uncomfortable, that probably means you probably want to do a little bit of work on your money mindset. So you can be at a place where when the strategies are presented to you, you're like, yes, like money's important to me. Like we're going to make this happen. I'm paying attention. I'm here. I'm present. And I'm going to put this into action. And so let's talk about some resources. So I have books, of course. Let me put these up here. So a good place to start, I think a really good place to start actually, and I think I've talked about this book before. This is the Money Mindset book. It was, you know, it's by Jen Sincero. So this is, you are a badass at making money. And I think, especially if you're just beginning, especially if you see yourself having some hangups when it comes to money management, I would definitely start here because again, you want to do the work to get rid of these, you know, these limiting beliefs that you have around money. If you believe that money is the root of all evil and money is terrible and money causes, well, you're not going to be very interested in putting the strategies to make money in place, right? Like you're just going to be ignoring that and you're going to be focused, and your financial standard of living is going to probably be reflective of that. So the first thing that needs to change is you need to be like, yes, I want to make money. Yes, I like money. Yes, I am friends with money. Yes, I welcome it into my life and I am ready to learn and ready to implement all of these strategies. And to get our mindset in order, this is a fantastic place to begin. You've also probably heard, you've most definitely probably heard about Think and Grow Rich. So Think and Grow Rich, this is one of the first money mindset books. And I do recommend for you to start with Jen Sincero's You're a Badass, because it will open you up to some concepts and it'll get you started. And once you've been primed and once you've been introduced to a few concepts, then digesting the concepts from Think and Grow Rich will be, I think, easier to do. And at this point, I've read this book about 20 times, maybe more. I've read this book also, you know, like a dozen times. And you know, what's fascinating is this is the original gangster, right? This is the OG that started a lot of what we see, especially, you know, in the self-development work and world. And every time I read this one, I'm just like, whoa, I can't believe I missed that, right? I was just rereading it the other day and I had so many, you know, ahas and learnings that I didn't catch the first time. So this is going to provide some additional exercises and ways of thinking about money. It's going to introduce what is your chief definite aim. If you want to then continue doing money mindset work, I definitely recommend taking my course. It's called Becoming Besties with Money. It's 30 days of exercises and it includes 3 30-minute coaching sessions with me, which each of those 30-minute sessions is worth, at the moment, and again, my rates are going to continue increasing because yay money, at this point, that's for each 30-minute session, that's $200 worth. So I would definitely jump on that. The course is $500. but just in the 3 sessions that you get with me, that's already $600 plus the 30 days of exercises and the work and the way of changing your perspective and your mindset, priceless. And it'll be really powerful. So once we've done the mindset work and once I put together masterminds and I'm always the person and I just did a game, it's called the prosperity game, and I always find myself being the most like, yay, money's fantastic, money is great, we should all be friends with money, right? Like we should have a healthy, happy, loving relationship with money. And so I've seen the people around me completely change their mindset. And so again, if you're at a place where you want to completely change your mindset when it comes to money, if you want to say like, okay, all right, money, I know we had some hiccups, I know we had some issues, but I'm ready not just to make nice, I'm ready to have a thriving relationship with you. I'm ready to welcome you into my life. Then check out these books, check out my course, and if you want even more support, we can do one-on-one coaching for a few months. Okay, so once you get to a point where you're like, yay, I love money, and you can, honestly say that and feel it and be like, I can't wait to learn about all the things that are gonna, so there's 5 levels of financial strength or of financial, as you progress, there's gonna be 5 milestones. These 5 milestones come from the first strategy book that I'm going to talk about, and that is Money Master the Game. This is a fantastic book, and as you can see, it's actually quite hefty. It's 700 pages. It's 600 and change, 626. Yeah. 626 pages. So it is not a quick read. But as you can see, like I've tabbed it all over and I have all these notes and stuff. If you're getting started and you're like, holy smokes, I don't even know how to think, like what investment, what is that? ¿Con qué se come? Like what do I eat that with? You want to start here. If you are a beginner and if you're just getting started, this is your primer. This is going to take you, hold your hand and walk you very clearly and very lovingly through the world of compound interest and investments and really specific and concrete things that you can start doing today to set yourself up to succeed financially. Now, in terms of those 5 milestones, so there's 5 milestones and different people are going to want different things when it comes to their financial life. And I want you all to want to be thriving in your financial lives. And so the 5 levels of financial steps or financial, just financial milestones. The first one is financial security. This is when your investments have gotten to a place where you no longer have to work. You are no longer working for money. Money is working for you. You are making money while you're sleeping, right? The average millionaire has 7 sources of income. And so these are things that I want you guys to start thinking about. What are all of your sources of income? Even if you're in a 9-to-5 job, I want you to start thinking like an entrepreneur. I want you to start thinking like a millionaire. I want you to start thinking of what's my strategy? What are my 7 sources of income? What are the ways that I am investing? I want you to become an investor, and there are very easy ways for you to become an investor. And again, this is why the mindset piece is so important, because until we get you to a place where you actually want to have a relationship with money and you want to bring in the money, all of this stuff that I'm going to be talking about right now in terms of strategy, it might go in one ear, out the other, and you're going to be like, it's like not really important to me, it's not a priority, it's too hard, it's too overwhelming. So we need to get you first to a place where you're like, okay, this is important to me, I like money, welcome it in, now let's get to work. And it's going to be work, right? And so the first step is going to be financial security. And this is, you have set up your finances in such a way, you've set up your investments in such a way that you no longer have to work, a single day in your life, and all of your basic needs are taken care of. After that, we have financial vitality. And so after financial, so we have financial security, vitality, independence, financial freedom, and absolute financial freedom. And so for vitality, this is when you have all of your basics covered and then a few of your non-basics. So things like shopping, you know, some like entertainment, some of those things are covered. And then the next level, all of those things are covered. Again, money, you're making money while you're sleeping. And guys, this might be a crazy concept, but this is how the wealthy do it, right? Like, yes, they're working. A lot of the time they're working because they love to work. I know for myself, I love what I do. And this is why I really invite you to find a calling. Because when you're like, I can't imagine not working. I love what I do. I get to make a difference in the world. I get to wake up every day and do something that just sets my soul on fire. Why wouldn't I want to work for the rest of, I love what I do. I love my clients. Anyway, I go on and on. All right, so financial security, financial vitality, financial independence. At financial independence, you're covering all of your extras. Then we have financial freedom, which you're also covering some really fun toys, some really fun luxuries. And then absolute financial freedom, at which you are covering anything you can imagine under the sun. My goal, which is probably not surprising, is absolute financial freedom. And so what I've been doing is I've been learning about the, you know, investments, and just like, I had to start at the very beginning because I didn't know anything about investment when I first started. Like, I bought, they're like the textbook must be somewhere here. At some point, I bought an actual money management textbook that was taught in, you know, in colleges, because I was just like, I want to learn how to do this. I want to learn how to do this right, because nobody taught me. And if you are at that place, I say start here. This is a gentle primer. It's hefty, but it's worth it. And again, once you're in the mindset of this is really important to me, you will consume it and you will go through it, and you'll start implementing some of those strategies. And one thing that I do want to say is, when it comes to your investments, management fees are going to be critical, absolutely important. A lot of you probably have 401ks and you don't even know the sort of management fees that are eating up at your investment. And so that for me is heartbreaking. And so there's actually a fiduciary obligation. That means there's a legal obligation on your employer to provide one of the best products. And so, you know, again, if you read this book, you will have next steps for making sure that your 401k investments are protected, that you're getting the best rate, and that if you are a solopreneur, that you know what to do in terms of making sure that you are starting to set up your investments. The next resource that was really helpful for me is Dave Ramsey. So you guys have probably heard about Dave Ramsey. So he has this book that's called The Total Money Makeover. And I think this is a good place to start. This is helpful. He can be a bit of a screamer. I think the first book that I bought, he was just like, so screaming at you! And I was like, whoa, hold on a bit. And so then I got a different book and I was like, okay, you're not screaming so much. So it's a lot of, but I think he does it, he's coming from a good place. He really cares about you, and he, you know, is very upset about the sort of the anxiety in, you know, these really bad places that families all around the United States are at. 80%, close to 80% of full-time workers in the United States say that they're living paycheck to paycheck. I don't know about you, for me, this is heartbreaking. And so I want to make it my mission to work with as many of you and provide you the tools for you to be, you know, not only stable, but thriving in your financial life. And so you can have, you know, read his book. He has a bunch of books. I have a bunch of them in my library. But what I really recommend, and I've, you know, have heard of people going through this program, it's Financial Peace University. You can actually probably find it in a church near you. And what you do, I think it's an 6 to 8 week course, and you're doing this with other people around you. And so just go online, go to Financial Peace University. I am not associated with any of these, minus my own course and coaching, of course. I'm not getting paid to advocate. These are just resources that I've used myself that have helped me. And especially if you're a beginner, especially if you're at a place where like, like what happened to me was like, I was making really good money, right? And even I, after having gotten like to university and like, you know, like law school, one of the best, I still didn't know how to manage my money. So please don't feel any sort of shame in feeling uncertainty or feeling like you don't know where to go. And so hopefully these resources will let you know where to get started depending on where in your journey you are. And so right now I'm mostly speaking to my beginner investors, the people, which is honestly like based on my years of research at this point, where most people are. And so I'm speaking to you if you're at a place you're making some money, maybe you're making good money, but you still don't know how to best manage your money. These will be some really helpful resources for you. Or if you're in a place where you're struggling with money, this is still gonna really help you. So Financial Peace University, community can be so important in helping us succeed. And so you can sign up for the course. Again, they're provided in like community colleges, they're provided in churches, they're provided in these community settings. And like, I would highly, highly recommend it. I know that people have gone through it and they've just learned so much. So I would say that I'm gonna stop there. This is just, you know, a little bit of snippet, just some quick resources that will get you started. And again, it starts with a money mindset. It starts with making a decision of, okay, maybe Money and I, we've had a little bit of a troubled relationship. I'm gonna get my ducks in order. We're gonna become besties. We're gonna become buddies. We're gonna become friends, and I'm gonna do that mindset work because I want to get to myself to a place where once I go after the strategies, I won't block myself. I won't, you know, like just mess myself up on purpose so I can, you know, like I'm making money, but then I, you know, waste it all because I feel dirty now that I have it. No. Let's get you to a place where you're like, no, I have a thriving, healthy, loving relationship with money. We're friends, we're besties, we're in a good place. You know, money, come on board. We're like, let's do some amazing things in the world. And then once you're there, then we can start implementing these strategies that we talked about. And again, if you're a beginner, and you want, I guess, much hand-holding as possible, I would say start with Financial Peace University. If you're a beginner and you're sort of like, wanna like do this yourself, wanna learn on your own, then do Money Master the Game, because this, again, it's a longer book, but absolutely worth it. You need to read it. It's incredibly important. And so last thoughts would be, you need to be in the driver's seat. Money is an energy, money is a tool. A hammer does not do anything unless, you know, a person is doing something with that hammer. And so this might sound a little bit harsh, but the results, financial results that you're seeing in your life, you've been holding the hammer. And my goal, my wanting for you is that you realize that this hammer can do incredible good, you know, in the world, in your life, can be a source for opportunity, for freedom, for magical moments, for you and yourself. You know, somebody said, people say money can't buy happiness, and this is gonna be another controversial thing that I say, and I'm okay with saying controversial things about money. And you know, just like, I think more of us need to be courageous in where we stand. So I think money can buy happiness. Just the other day, on Friday, I went to, you know, with some other people to share these healthy meals with homeless. So we were walking through the streets of San Francisco handing out this healthy food, and you know, for me it's just really important that it be healthy food. So we're handing out these meals, and we met a lady who had, I think her name is, well, I don't need to share her name. We met a lady who had just lost her vision 2 weeks ago, and she was on the street. She didn't know exactly where she was. She was freezing. She was hungry, and she said, you know, can someone get me a coffee? I'm freezing. And I said, yeah, it would be my honor, my pleasure to get you a coffee. And so at that moment, you know, I wanted to tear up, right? Because I had been, you know, in my head stressed about all the work that I had to do. And here was this woman who, I don't know how many days she had gone without eating. She was freezing. She had just lost her vision. She didn't have a roof over her head. So I went and I bought that coffee, and, you know, those were the best damn $2.50 ever. And it reminds me of another moment where I was really struggling with money, and I was coming home from a long day at work, and it was a really cold day, and I was walking down the street, and right in front of the Goodwill, there was an old man who was standing there. And I'm walking down the street, and he was saying something to people that were passing by, and I couldn't quite hear it, you know, and I passed by him. I heard something like, "Can you buy me a jacket or a sweater?" And, you know, I had kept walking, but like it took my brain a while to register what he had said, and I was like, actually, yeah, I can. Like, I'm kind of broke, but I can buy you a jacket, you know, like, I can. And so still makes me want to cry. So I turned around and I went back and I was like, "Sir, what did you ask for?" He was like, "I'm freezing. Can you help me buy something warm?" And I was like, "Yeah, it would be my absolute pleasure to buy you something warm, and I can do that." So we walked into the Goodwill, and you know he was walking in with his little his shopping cart with his stuff, and part of me was a little defiant, like, "Don't you dare like ask him to leave. He's here with me," right? And we looked for a sweater, we looked for something, and he found this jacket, and he goes, "Is this too expensive?" And it was like $15. And at that point, I just could not, you know, like, I really wanted to cry, and I was like, "No, like, it's not too expensive. Of course I can buy that for you." And so, you know, we bought him the jacket, and I helped him put it on. And so when people say that money can't buy happiness, I don't know, I disagree with that. If you are using this resource, if you're using this tool to pay it forward, to make the world a better place, I think I was, you know, doing some research. Warren Buffett has donated it's close to $43 billion. That's with a B. $43 billion to making the world a better place. Like, hot damn. I bet you he feels pretty good about that. And so I want incredible, good, big-hearted people to become as wealthy as possible, because we together can then, you know, put our work where our values are, and we can protect the oceans, we can protect the forests, we can stand for communities that are connected, and you know, we can help in so many regards. But until we have a place at the table, and unfortunately or fortunately, whatever, like, the truth is that to have a place at the table, often it comes with financial resources to be invited to play. And so if you are a big-hearted person who cares about the world, my plea to you, my invitation to you is join me. Let's become an army of extremely wealthy people who are using our wealth and our impact for good. And so I hope that you start or continue or thrive in your financial journey. If you have questions, you know, more questions about, you know, money mindset or money strategy, send them my way. I'd be happy to do additional videos on this. But it matters. Like, I hope that you have a thriving, healthy, loving, incredible relationship with money, because money does, whether we like it or not, and I hope you do like it, provides us with opportunity. It opens up doors. It, you know, when I buy my parents their first house, when, you know, like, just being able to light the people up in my life who I love the most because of this resource, like, why would I push that away? Why wouldn't I become as educated as I can in this field, in this, you know, area of money? And so I hope that you'll join me. I hope that you will have a thriving financial life. And just keep me posted on how you're doing. I can't wait to see you succeed, thrive, and just bring incredible goodness and beauty to this world. Okay, catch you guys next week.